Hello everyone, I am Ashish Ogley, Assistant Professor from the Department of the Humanities in the BHOPAL School of Social Sciences. So today we will discuss about a very crucial and important topic, and that is comes under the principles of public administration. It is actually the syllabus content of the first semester. So today we will discuss about its second unit part, in which actually I speak about the new public management. So basically the new public management is actually considered as a very new paradigm or the approach in the study of public administration, which can be considered as the presently running approach, in which very important kind of the concepts are included. Let's see, I am just going to continue, let you all know and get introduce the topic with you. So basically we just starts with the part of introduction. When I say about new public administration, so the new public management perspective is the latest paradigm in the evolution of public administration. It came into existence in 1990s. So it was not ever into the study of public administration, but just after 1990s it was introduced. The book entitled Reinventing Government by David Osborne and Ted Gabler published a book in 1992 and heralded the birth of the new public management. A very important, the new public management represent the second reinvention in public administration, and the first being the new public administration of the late 1960s. So we do have discussed about the evolution of the public administration, in which we have just gone through the many multiple number of the stages, in which lots of ups and downs or the turbulence has been seen by that public administration subject to reach up to the present status or the situation. Among them all, actually we do have discussed about in 1960s around, the new public administration was a very important and a newest approach introduces in this subject. So after the 1960s, many number of changes has been seen. Just after the Second World War, consequences we can say, or otherwise the day by day changing scenario in the world. A very great important changes being considered actually introduces in the world just in the 1980s. In 1980s, the very important concept of the glasnost and perestroika, which has become very much important throughout the world, especially in the erstwhile USSR. It was a very new kind of the approach. Actually, everyone likely to know about what is actually the meaning of the glasnost and perestroika. So these both are actually we all well known by the concept of globalization and privatization. Actually, that concept was being started in throughout the world. Russia do also adopted around in 1985, and then day by day many of the countries which were earlier socialist or the communist were started actually accepted that kinds of the concept, and that's why our scenario getting changed, which starts having the different expectations and demands of the rule, and for to satisfy and to fulfill that demand and the expectations, a new thrust and the new approach become very much important into the study of public administration or into the governance. And so that in 1990s, a very great changes been introduced, which was in reality by the two very important scholars, we can say, as I already have studied or in the running matter, that is David Osborne and Ted Gabler published a book in 1992. And by publishing of that particular book, they do have given a very new concept to that subject as the new public management. I am continuing here. So as I explained to you all, so now that become very much important that to have or do understand what is the basic themes behind of that new public management. Let's see now. The new public management is also known as the entrepreneurial government. It aims the 3 E's we call efficiency, economy and effectiveness. So it is very much important. Entrepreneur. A particular entrepreneurship, generally we explain, is what? One who can have the risk. So now the government is not limited only to the have maintenance of law and order. That become very much important, that the government now have to perform the functions into the market, and the government should have to be get immersed as of the entrepreneurship or the entrepreneur government. So instead of perform all the things, now the rollback in the government's functioning getting started. Rollback stands for getting privatization. All those functions and the activities could be possible get done by the private ownership or the outside, could be get done and giving to them, and that was a prime activity performed during that time, in which the 3 E's are very important, and I already say it is efficiency, economy and effectiveness. It emphasizes on performance, appraisal, managerial autonomy, cost cutting, financial incentives, output target, innovation, responsiveness, competence, accountability and market orientation. So these all are whatever do I have discussed with you all in this running matter, actually speaking about only the key of the entrepreneur government, especially when I say about the performance appraisal. So it is become very much important, because day by day what the actually scenario, social, economic, political, religious, cultural is getting changed. That become very much important, that every time government must have to be alert, and be ready to face any of the situations spontaneously, which is never been earlier been experienced. And that's why that become very much important to have a performance appraisal at every steps, by which they can correct if it is possible, and by which they can continue if it is possible to provide a proper welfare and the development for the country. The new public management staunchly advocates a basic change in the role of the state in society and economy, emphasizes on the vital role of the market as against the state as the key regulator of the society and economy. That become very much important. What do you mean by the market? As earlier I say, government, its main function is the maintenance of the law and order, look into the society, into the economy, and especially in course of having the development and perform the functions as of the sole player. That was the earlier concept. But as the new era of globalization, privatization has been introduced, that actually change the role of the government. Actually, it does not change the role of the government, but making compulsion to government to get change accordingly the outer scenario, and that we have find here. So now, as you know about the market mechanism completely depending on the demand and supply. So it is very much important. Actually, we now what the government have, it is also completely work for the market mechanism. It means what? They also look into the demand and supply. Expectations and demands become very much important to fulfill the requirement and ensure the development of the country. I am continuing on the basic things. Let's see here. Thus, it involves a shift from the direct provision of services by government to the indirect methods. Indirect methods like policy making, facilitating, contracting, providing information and coordinating other actors. That is very much important. It is really very much important that actually instead of giving and providing the services directly to the hands of their clients, customers, citizens or the residents of the country, instead of that they started actually working as a very important agent by which they can motivate, they can cultivate those kinds of the very important facts and the concepts by which they can coordinate to whatever the actors are performing the functions into the society and economy of a country. I am continuing. In other words, the government should change from doer of public activities to a distributor of public benefit and facilitator and promoter of the change in society and economy. Thus, the new public management suggests a series of shifts of emphasis in the way in which the public sector should be organized and managed to meet the new challenges of liberalization, globalization and privatization. So, that become very much important. Government, as the outside scenario is getting changed, required to be receive or adopt the change in themselves and develop a new role to face that all. Continuing, the central theme of new public management as summarized by Osborne and Gabler. We don't need more government. We need better government. To be more precise, we need the better governance. That was a very important advocacy being presented by the two very important scholars of the Osborne and Gabler. They started saying, we don't want more government. Government is called to the body. So, the presence of the government is not very much important. Instead of they required the better governance. It means what? Governance is the function. So, we don't need the government. It means your presence. Instead of we need your services, your performances, your functions, which will get the development and the welfare of the country. So, the next we can see here, governance is the act of the collective solving our problems, and government is the instrument we use. The instrument is outdated now and it is time to remake. And for that, if you want to go for the new approach of new public management. So, I am really very thankful to you all to join with me, and thank you so much. Take care.